Hello, Avram. Let's see. Oh, I can hear you. I hear clickety clicks. Now I don't. Hold on. Maybe that's my fault. How about now? Can I hear you now? I had you a minute ago,
How about
and you were
now?
typing, and then I think I screwed something up. I don't hear you anymore. No, I don't have anything now. Hmm. Let me see if this is on me. No, because I heard it. I heard it clicking a second ago. I can see you moving your mouth, but I don't hear you. I wonder if I have the wrong one turned on. No. Oh, I see. I see sound waves coming from you now,
Huh. But you don't hear
but
anything.
I don't actually hear anything.
Hmm.
Okay. First things first. Let me get rid of the fake one, the one from last week. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Camera's all screwed up too. Okay. Let me try. Let me try this. Okay. I'm going to delete the input. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add it as a guest. I'm going to go to audio. I'm going to find you. Okay. This is killing me, dude.
Sorry.
Make sure I'm getting feedback. Yeah, I can hear system sounds. Oh, sorry. I wonder if I have to do that. Oh, I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
I can.
Yay.
Hooray.
All right. Quick before we get cut off.
I was like, I think Avram has something in his mouth. How do I know that? Oh, because I heard
Yeah.
him. Because I heard him. Because I heard him. Hooray.
Nah. Yeah, I was just sucking a lifesaver. Saver. Well, there you go.
You know what? Whatever makes it work.
That's my way of helping you test.
Appreciate it.
Ugh.
Oh my goodness. All right. Um, so what have we got? Are we doing
So
okay.
I have two possibilities for you.
The first
One
is the
is
chair.
no.
Oh.
Did we? I didn't show this before, right?
No, what is it?
This is the Sphero rover. Um,
Oh.
it is a robot car that you can attach a Raspberry Pi to or other things to, and it's really cool. It's really cool. I haven't done like everything with it, but I did manage to get the Raspberry Pi API working on it, um, and
Okay.
it's pretty neat. So I have that. Or we could talk about Black Friday. But I'm just as happy not to talk about Black Friday for a few
Uh-huh.
minutes
Yeah,
because
I
that's all I do now.
I know. Yeah, I am
Yeah.
perfectly fine talking about Sphero. That's always a win for me because I love them.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good one. So yeah, why don't we talk about that?
Okay, that sounds good. I don't know if you saw the articles. FCC won't subsidize Chinese hardware as part of their whatever it is, USF, Universal Service Fund. Half-Life is coming back with a VR game, which
Cool.
officially addresses our number one issue that there's no killer title for VR. Half-Life will be a
Yep.
killer title, so that could be big for the platform. The Justice Department is fighting again to not have secure encryption, and this time they're trying to get Interpol involved. And Apple's first original movie premiere has been canceled because apparently there are rape charges against one of the producers, who just so happens to be the son of one of the guys featured in the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to fix the camera real quick
Yep.
because it's zoomed weird. Hold on a second.
Okay.
That'll work. All right. A lot of like the top of your head was missing, which was weird.
I feel that way all the time now.
Your crazy week. This turned out to be one of your craziest weeks, right?
It already has, but yeah, the one coming up is going to be even more so. But at my job, they made the executive decision that we consider Black Friday to have started already. So
Gotcha.
I was working all weekend.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yes, indeed.
So, and next weekend I will be so. To put it mildly, I will have worked. Let's see. Although I even did some work last Sunday from home, but let's just assume officially when I had to work, I worked this whole week, both days this weekend, and I will be working through Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah, so I'll probably be going like, I don't know, at least like 2 weeks without a single day off. But anyway, it is you know it is what it is. I shouldn't complain. There are people who have to do like hard physical labor every day and get no days off. So
Indeed.
I'm just sitting in front of a computer. So
you're not digging ditches or any of that.
Right.
Yeah. Understood.
So.
Alrighty. I think I just got a message from Danielle. Oh. Not about anything that needs to be addressed right now. All right. Record the studio, record audio. All right. Let's do this. Hello, Internet. From Plunkett Studios, I'm Scott.
I'm Abram.
And we are here with episode 543 of F5 Live, Refreshing Technology, for Sunday, November 24th, 2019. This show is a proud part of the Tech Podcasts Network. If it's tech, it's here. This week, Huawei is leaving networks, Half-Life is coming to VR, and Apple is temporarily skipping theaters. wherever you are and however you're accessing our show, whether it be on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat, on any of the podcatchers like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, or the myriad of others, on any of our live stream platforms, livestream.com, Mixer, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube Live, or Facebook Live, or of course, on our website, plughitslive.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day. There are two ways that you can do that. The first is Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can go to f5live.tv/join us. There you can watch the show live and chat with us in the studio while we record, and let us know your take on the topics as we talk about them. We always love to hear what people have to say. If you're not able to join us live, that's okay as well. plughitslive.com/subscribe will show you all of our shows and all the ways that you can subscribe to them, including F5 Live, The Pilch Point, our brand new series, Plug Hits Live How To, where we answer your questions on how to do things with technology and a whole lot more. I think that is our spiel. Avram, how are you doing this evening?
Decent, decent. A lot of hard work this week and the week to come, because this is kind of key time of year. Black Friday time, we do a lot of writing about how to help people find good deals, and so we gotta stay on top of it, and that can end up being quite time consuming, and got to do it, keep an eye on it 24/7. So
Yeah, because some things are announced and then some just boop happen.
yep, yep. I mean, you got to find what and who some things I find interesting, maybe the readers won't. Who knows? I think the best deal I've seen so far, I saw just earlier this afternoon, and it's not necessarily on something I would get. Well, I already have an Xbox, so I certainly wouldn't get it. But they have an Xbox One S with which outputs at 4K with a 1 terabyte hard drive for 149 brand new, which is really good because I've never see a console for below 199. But there is one little catch. The catch is it is a and they highlight this like it's a bonus, a digital only version, meaning
Oh,
it
yeah,
has
yeah.
no optical drive.
It's the Xbox One S
So
digital edition or something like that. All digital edition.
yes, so I guess there you save money because you can't buy physical media to play in it.
Right.
I mean, pros and cons there. Like, if you were starting off an Xbox collection and you didn't have any physical media, it is much more convenient to just buy everything from the store and have it
Yeah.
download. However, uh, one thing I have found, it is infinitely cheaper to buy used copies of games as physical media, which you cannot do um, through digital.
Right.
So that's the trade-off. But having digital only copies, I mean, all else being equal, is definitely better.
Yeah, for sure. And for those people who are going to, and this is a great gaming conversation as well. But for people who are going to do the Xbox Game Pass, and that's going to be your primary source for games because it's what $10 a month, and there's 100+ games available, and all the Microsoft titles are in there on launch day, um, which obviously is a big deal. If you're going to do that as your primary game source, then the all digital edition is a great deal because you save the money on the hardware and you're saving a ton of money by doing the Game Pass. It's a good combination.
Yeah.
So we will actually talk about how to find that deal in just a second, because that promo is the beginning of our next segment. So Let's get right into that now. This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store, where you can find that great deal on the Xbox One S all digital for $149. Comes with no optical drive, but it's perfect, like we were saying, for those who want to use the Xbox Game Pass, which is also available from the Microsoft Store. In fact, you can get 3 months of the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is both PC and Xbox One for $1 right now. And if Xbox isn't the thing you're looking for, maybe you're looking for a new laptop or a tablet or Office 365. Maybe you're looking for a new phone. The Microsoft Store has all of that. And remember, most of your purchases qualify for a 10% discount if you're a current student or military. And you can find all of those deals by going to f5live.tv/Microsoft. So that was a good lead in there, Abram. So over the last particularly the last year, but it has been a couple of years that we have been watching this ramp up. There's been a lot of talk about hardware from Chinese companies that are intimately connected with either the Chinese government or their military. In particular, the company that everybody thinks of is Huawei, but of course, there's others like ZTE that are basically the same structure, the same general company idea. And there's been a lot of question about whether or not, the product should be imported, whether or not our companies should be allowed to sell to them. And it's been up and down. One of the aspects that has been in the forefront of this conversation has been whether or not the Chinese companies should be allowed to have to be involved in our cellular networks. They produce a lot of wireless radio technology to build the networks for Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and so there's been a lot of question there. The FCC has officially weighed in and unanimously this week said that any projects that are funded by the Universal Service Fund, which is the fund that helps carriers provide service to areas that could never be profitable on their own, rural areas and things like that. Any projects that are being funded by the USF cannot make purchases from Huawei or ZTE going forward. There's now an infrastructure in place for the FCC to evaluate and add new companies in the future if they feel they need to. And there is discussion about requiring that the hardware that is already in place be removed, which is obviously a huge undertaking. But the FCC has said they don't want to fund projects that feature hardware from these companies, not Chinese companies in general, these two in particular. So I think that's the biggest and most vocal step that's been taken, because everything else that's been said has either been suspended or massively diminished thus far, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not seeing all the phone launches, though. It's
That's true.
still, I mean, so, I mean, what is it? The Huawei, was it the Huawei Mate
Mate?
Mate Pro?
Yeah.
The one that has really excellent cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can get one, but you can't get it through a carrier. I don't
Right.
even know if you can get it through a U.S. vendor.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Yeah,
so
there
it's really they definitely.
yeah, there's certainly restrictions like, and whether they're official or not, right? It it may just be everybody's going, okay, we're not going to get involved in this just in case, because I know ZTE handsets used to be available from both AT&T and Verizon. I've seen them. I had seen them physically in stores uh, lo- long ago, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They so yeah, there's I mean there's a lot of ways in which you can't get equipment from these vendors, and
mhm.
the consumer market is poorer for it, and we still haven't seen any evidence that there's actually any security violation going on.
True. Um, this of course isn't the first time that the government has barred itself from spending money on uh, Huawei and ZTE hardware.
Yeah.
It was 5 or 6 years ago. Um, uh, an Obama executive order um, prevented any government official from using a Huawei or ZTE handset for government business. And I believe that order is still in place. I don't believe it was ever rescinded.
Yeah.
So, the government has kind of long had concerns about these brands, but I think the idea that there's them saying that private organizations using public funds, but private organizations can't purchase their hardware, I think is a pretty big move. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Like I said, it was unanimous. Both Democrats and Republicans in the FCC voted for this, but uh, commissioners on both sides of the aisle are concerned that Washington may try and politicize this and try and incorporate it into a the larger trade negotiations with China, which they believe probably with good reason could diminish the value of orders from the FCC. So it will definitely be interesting to see what comes of it. Like you said, Avram, there's been soft evidence, but there's never been any hard like something that would stand up in court. There's it's all been circumstantial and could have been third party interference type things. There's never been any hard evidence to suggest that anything coming out of these companies is particularly problematic. But obviously, the fear of Red China is ever looming over anything that comes out of the
Well,
country.
if there's really a security problem, then uh, I think the FCC owes it to the American people to disclose what that is. If
I agree.
and then they shouldn't be able to trade it back in a trade deal, because if it's a problem, if it's a security violation, you shouldn't be able to trade away security.
Right. Which is exactly what the commissioners are saying is that they believe that there's a legitimate threat here. And I agree, they should say what it is,
Okay.
but they believe that there's a legitimate threat, and their fear is that their threat assessment will be undermined as part of a trade deal, which will not be great for them. So I totally understand that. Um, I am with you. I would like to see what led them to this decision, because for both parties to jump on board with this certainly is a big move, and I'd like to know why all of a sudden they have decided that now is the time that they need to do this. It would it would suggest that there's some sort of information. I think that they should disclose it, but it is what it is. Right now, we won't. We probably won't be getting any further information, but it would be nice. I'm gonna ask real quick. Are you are you good to do?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
I
good.
just I just wanted to make sure we could reshuffle stuff if there was too much chaos. Okay, then let's do
No.
this. This week's Pilch Point with Avram Pilch is proudly powered by PureVPN. You definitely want a VPN service to hide your browsing activity, whether it be from Google and Facebook or from your ISP. And a VPN like PureVPN is the best way to do that. It gives you the ability, like I said, to hide your activity or to obfuscate it, but it also gives you the ability to report that you're somewhere else, which is really nice when you're out of the country and still would like to watch the premiere of one of your favorite shows. Not at all a real life story. And right now, as part of the Cyber Week that's getting started, they have got a deal for a 3-year plan. You can get a $1.92 a month, which is a really great deal, and you get a 31-day money back guarantee. So if you buy the plan at this great deal and you don't like it, it doesn't do what you want, you can get all of your money back. And you can find all of the information about PureVPN by going to pilchpoint.live/PureVPN. So, I guess the first thing we'll say is that it is Cyber Week coming up. You guys will have a ton of information about.
Already do.
Yes.
We already do. So if you go to tomshardware.com, you will see that we have a lot of information there. We've highlighted some of the best deals, or maybe all of the best deals. Well, certainly some of the best deals for people who like technology, and we also have lists of some of the best gifts to get for different kinds of folks. So definitely check us out. But speaking of gifts, I want to talk about something which I think is an awesome gift for someone, or for oneself. And this is this new thing that I've been testing called the Sphero Rover, spelled RVR. So what this is it is a robot uh, tank, I guess you could say, and it comes with different kinds of tops. So like here's a top you can put on it, and unlike most robot cars, it's actually made to be durable enough to go outside. Um,
Nice.
but the point of it is that you program it, and there's the Sphero EDU app, which allows you to write code for it, from a phone or tablet, and you can control it that way. It has a color sensor, it has a light sensor, um, so it has it's got pretty good sensors and really good motors, and it's got the batteries inside here, and it pops out. So this is like a serious thing. Like adults could use this for, like, I don't know what a industrial use case of having a robot tank is, but um, if you, I don't know, want to drive it over to a lake to test the water quality or something, you could, because not only can you control it using Sphero's app, but there's an API, and you can plug in a Raspberry Pi to it and run it that way. So what I have here is, this is a Raspberry Pi Zero W, and to it is attached directly to the rover. So there's a USB cable that comes out of the rover to give power to your Raspberry Pi. This also works with Arduino, and I think one other type of board, but Raspberry Pi is clearly the best. And there's also
Microbit.
these wires over here, microbit, right? There are also these wires over here that come out of the. They're basically a ground, a TX, and an RX for serial connection. So you connect them to the pins on your Raspberry Pi, and then you install the software, which took me quite a while to figure out. I had to look on some forums to get it working, even though they have documentation for it on Sphero's website. And then you can control it through the Raspberry Pi. So, um, for example, I wrote a quick, and you can program it in Python. So I wrote a quick program the other day to use the color sensor to change what the LED lights on this do, because there's a whole bunch of LED lights on it.
Okay.
So when it's on, so if you, let me see if this has some juice, and I can actually see in their default state what they do. So right, so they like, they kind of light up
Okay.
in all kinds of colors, but mm, but the what I did is I actually programmed it, which I'd have to boot up the Raspberry Pi and use it. So I'm not going to do that right now. Um, to have a color sensor program that when I stuck a color under it, it would change the colors of the lights to that color. So, but of course, you could use the color sensor um, to make it like drive or stop or go backward or whatever. Like, oh, if it runs over green, go, and if it runs over red, stop. And in the package with this, they actually give you a bunch of like pieces of different color paper in different colors, so that you can actually use it for that. And that's, you can program the color sensor without a Raspberry Pi, but one of the great things about having the Raspberry Pi is you can attach additional sensors and additional things that it doesn't come with. Some examples are people have built robot arms to put on top of it. Other examples are people have, attached a camera to it and made this into a security device, a security camera robot. That's actually what I'm trying to do with it. There, I don't have it in front of me, but there's a mount so that you can actually screw in the Raspberry Pi to it, or other cameras or motors or whatever, and then you can have it, really have it control. You can do it things based on the sensors, right? So I don't know, what if you put like an air quality sensor on this, and it, I don't know, detected that the poor air quality would go somewhere or do something? What if you put a motion sensor on it, and if it detected activity, it would sound an alarm or something? So like there's an almost infinite number of possibilities. And there's a lot of robot car kits out there that are cheaper than this. This is $249, which is quite a bit. Um, but this is really, really well made. Like, it's just very, very solid. The I haven't fully tested how long the battery lasts, but it seems to last a long time, definitely several hours. Um, and most of these things are not made to go outdoors, so they aren't this durable. Also, if you have the top on it, it's supposed to be able to kind of flip over. So if it like does something in a loop and it flips over, it should be able to survive that.
Okay.
So it's just really cool. It's a lot of fun, and the possibilities are kind of endless. Now, if you could see more clearly, you can actually see all the circuit guts inside, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool. Like, you can see the boards that are inside of it, which are some kind of proprietary board. It's not like a Raspberry Pi inside or anything. But you know, I think that this is a lot of fun. My son and I have been really enjoying playing with it and figuring out how to do different things on it. And so, if you were buying somebody a gift this holiday season, that person is a maker or likes robots. I mean, kids can. You don't need the Raspberry Pi. Kids can use this. Kids can enjoy it. Um, but I think kids, either an adult maker or adults with kids together, when you start attaching a Raspberry Pi or other things to it, that's when it becomes really, really powerful.
Yeah, and obviously it's Sphero. So there's a couple of things that
Yeah.
you can go into it knowing. you know that it's durable because Sphero stuff is durable, which obviously, if you're getting it for a kid, is important. Um, and you know that it's designed for expandability, like you were saying. That's one of the things that Sphero is known for. Even their first ball many years ago was had external APIs, and you could do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. So I love that it's Sphero. I love that naturally it's expandable, and then by adding a Raspberry Pi or a microbit or an Arduino to it, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. That's awesome.
But I have to say I've never seen anything like this before. Like there's a lot of robot car kits out there where they'll give you the motors and the and the frame, and you gotta put it together yourself, and then you can have the central piece be a Raspberry Pi. But here's something that works independently, but it's got a port. It's got 3 pins, the equivalent of what you would call a serial port, and USB power out for the purpose of powering a Raspberry Pi. So it's not like an afterthought. It's made to do this. So I think that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, for sure. And while you were talking, as is pretty normal for me, I went out to look at all of the details, which is why I knew it was microbit as a third board. And
Yeah.
apparently on Amazon right now, there's a deal on this for $199.
Wow. All
Yeah,
right. Well, I didn't. We will. I'll be writing about that shortly
yeah. I
after
mean,
we get off this call.
that's a 20% discount. That's huge.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. Even at 199, it's not cheap because it's more money than an Xbox. But, but you know, it's a different thing for a different purpose. And having seen 60, 70, $80 car kits where you got to put together yourself and they're kind of flimsy. This is the this thing is really, you could use this as a real, you know I don't know exactly what the use cases would be that were like not for fun, but you could use this. I mean, they have some videos of it, and they have somebody like taking water samples from a river with it or something. Um, so it definitely is made for serious business to do. It's fun enough and understandable enough for a kid that's 7 or 8, but is durable and expandable enough for a serious adult using it for some kind of industrial purpose.
And in their marketing images, I see that they are using Visual Studio for all of the programming on it. So that means that it's like massively targetable. That means that it's designed for makers and entry level all the way up through like enterprise developers, because if it's in Visual Studio, you can all but guarantee it's an enterprise developer that's supposed to be
Yeah,
messing around with it. So I mean, they definitely have their sights on some big stuff with this little guy. I love it. Obviously, you have one in your possession, so you must be working on something with it.
yes. This has already made our list of best STEM toys, and uh, we are. I'm working on a more detailed review of it, but it scores high. This is the problem is there's so many different things I could try with it, uh, that to have time to try them all in the middle of this crazy season is going to be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you right now, it is great. And if you're the type of person who likes to make things, use Raspberry Pi, it's definitely for you.
Very cool. I am looking at the marketing images on this, and I am fascinated by some of the things they're doing with it. Just based on the photos, there's something with a red solo cup on an arm that appears to be rotatable. So I'd love to know what that's all about. And then there's some sort of a weather station thing with the spinning bit on top. I would love to know what that's all about too. So yeah, like I said, they've definitely got their their eyes set on big things with this. I appreciate you bringing this on because, like we said, there was another. It's that time of year. There was another potential topic, uh, but I love this thing, and
This is more fun.
yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I might want one myself. So,
Yep.
so thanks for that, Abram. This week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by Razer. All the accessories you need to up your game on both PC and console are available from Razer. Everything from a keyboard and mouse like we use here in the studio to really cool, highly customizable controllers for the Xbox, which I saw this week and are really cool. And all the way up through systems, full laptops, and things like that are all available. And right now, obviously, like we said, Cyber Week is kicking off. They've got early access for through our link. And to find out about all those deals and all the products that are available, you can go to f5live.tv/Razer. Their graphic is all like cyber jittery. Anyway, that's just a weird observation. Anyway, so if there is one game in the entire industry that continually gets requests for more content in, it's Half-Life. The last time we saw an actual entry in the Half-Life franchise was Half-Life 2 Episode 2, which released as part of the Orange Box on October 10th, 2007. Yes, that is 12 years ago. It has become the biggest joke in the gaming industry. Anytime somebody at Valve sneezes, everybody's like, "Oh, Half-Life 3." And it never happened. We never got Half-Life 2 Episode 3. And so everybody would like for them to either finish the last story or start a new one. Well, kind of. You're going to get your wish. A game that we've known about the existence of, but did not know any details about, was officially announced this week. Half-Life Alyx it's official. It is a VR title. It is a AAA VR title. Now, Abram, you and I have talked for the last couple of years about why VR has never taken off in the consumer space, and it's because we believe it's because there has never been a truly killer title. Well, Valve making a Half-Life title for VR, a AAA quality Half-Life title for VR, could be that killer title. I truly
That
believe that.
I think that would be really cool. I wanted to mention that another VR title came out, I think, just last week, called Doctor Who: The Edge of Time,
Yes.
which is which sounded like it had some potential. I'm reading some of the reviews that people have put up, and it's been kind of met with mixed reviews. People say they can get through it in about 3 hours, which is not very long
Yeah.
for a game, and that the controls are kind of annoying. But those are complaints that you'd get from a regular game. I mean, I think
Sure.
part of the problem is there just haven't been a lot of VR games that are that engaging that people spend a lot of time in them, like
Yeah.
they do with with regular games. So I like to see a game that had enough content for that.
Yeah. And a AAA title out of Valve is going to be that kind of a game, right? Because if you look, I mean, You look back at the orange box. Let's look at the generation that was the last time we saw Half Life. Uh, Portal wasn't even a AAA title. Granted, it overshadowed every other game in the industry that year, and it was the undisputed game of the year. But it wasn't a AAA level title. It was a throw in. Half Life 2 Episode 2 and Team Fortress were supposed to be the AAA titles, and Portal was something that was thrown in as an add on. And that came out of Valve, and that owned the industry that year. So when they really do focus down on a AAA title, look at anything that's come out of CounterQuest, anything that's come out of Portal 2 was a huge game. When Valve really sits down and focuses down, they they produce a big game. And on top of this, uh, for anybody who buys a Valve Index VR headset, you're gonna get this game for free. So it is going to be a AAA title VR game that's going to be free as the flagship game for the headset. That's that's big. People are going to buy the hardware to play this game because everybody has been itching to get back into Black Mesa. And this game is going to take place between the first and second game. So it's a new story, but it takes place in the past. Uh, but I think this might be the thing that finally pushes people to buy hardware who have been holding out, which I'm excited about. I mean, I might finally buy VR hardware because of this game.
I mean, it definitely sounds like. I mean, that's what the industry needs. And then once you have one game like this, you start to see it. You start to see others.
Because financing
One thing
starts
I
to show up
experienced
to the other developers, right? Once one thing really catches on and the platform grows, then you get financing from and to publishers and developers to start building other AAA titles for the hardware.
So something else that kind of happened, I think it was last week, that was really interesting is that Minecraft Earth went into wide. I think it's still beta, but it's like a wide beta, and
It's not even
so
beta, it is early access. It's pre-alpha.
okay, well, it seems to be in decent shape because I've
Yes,
been using it.
me
My
too.
son really wanted to try it, and I bring that up because if it weren't for Pokemon Go, there wouldn't be a Minecraft Earth.
True.
And so, could this be the Pokemon Go? Could Half Life for VR be the Pokemon Go of VR?
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes, because what was Pokemon Go? It was Niantic working with the Pokemon Company to build a thing for a new technology based on an existing highly popular franchise, and that is exactly what Valve is doing here. They are building a game for a new technology based on a highly popular and financially secure franchise. So yes, this could absolutely be the VR equivalent of Pokemon Go, and it coming out to support the index. I mean, that's Valve hardware with Valve Store playing a Valve game. That is that is the Apple model right there. and
Yeah.
if they can control the entire experience, they can guarantee that it will work the way they want it to, which can be one of the challenges for VR, right? You can't always. We've seen variable experiences based on your hardware, whether it be trying to use a Steam game with your Samsung phone in a thing, or using the HTC Vive. Very different experience, but in this case, they can control the entire experience. I think it's going to be good all around, not just for VR, but because Valve is back in Black Mesa. They are back in the Half-Life universe, and one of the heads of the franchise said that now that they are back, they have returned to Black Mesa. The company wants to stay there. And this is just the first, hopefully, the first of many games to come out back in the Half-Life universe, which the Half-Life universe is difficult to say because Portal also takes place in that same continuum. But and they make fun of each other. But um, it's a return to Black Mesa, and they want to stay there. They want to do more games in the Half-Life storyline. So Half-Life 3, come on. It's only been 12 years. It'll be 13 by the time this game comes out. But that's good for the franchise and everybody who loves it, which is many gamers. So I'm very excited. This week's news from the tubes and F5 Live is proudly powered by RiffTrax. Make fun of movies or let these guys do it for you. Mike Nelson, Bill Corbett, and Kevin Murphy, the former stars of Mystery Science Theater 3000, are back and doing what they do best, creating commentaries for Hollywood blockbusters and B-movie oddities like Martial Law, where I think they just rented a hotel room and were doing karate. The way it works is for a couple of dollars, you download the MP3, play it along with your DVD, Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, wherever the movie happens to exist, and laugh. They also do short films, industry films like The Importance of Springs. I know I use that example all the time, but it is a horrifying short film. It will keep you up at night. And also those educational films we watched in school. They also do live events, and those live events make their way onto the site as well. And to find all of the commentaries, whether it be for full-length features, live events, or short films, you can go to f5live.tv/rifftracks with an X. Oh my god, this movie is called Feeders. It looks like it was supposed to be like Tremors. And that was already a B movie. Anyway, we've talked about this before. The bizarre relationship that the U.S. government has with encryption and user data privacy and security. On the one hand, Congress called Mark Zuckerberg in to testify about why user data was not protected, and on the other hand, the Justice Department keeps asking that the tech industry not encrypt data. So it's definitely a difficult relationship that they have with protection, and we're going to focus on the second one, which is the truly bizarre side of it. We know that the government has many times requested that either encryption not really exist, or that it be easy to break, or that it not be easy to break and it be broken anyway, which was the case with Apple a couple of years ago. And Apple, famously fought a court order demanding that they break the encryption on a device, and in the end, they won. But this week, the Justice Department has gone a new route, trying a new tactic, because they have not been able to win the support of almost anybody here at home, and instead, the FBI drafted a resolution presented at Interpol's annual child protection meeting. And basically the idea was that we can't protect kids if data is encrypted, which is an interesting pitch, and one that we've heard them make before. And So after the meeting, the FBI claimed that the resolution would be published shortly. After uh, asking Interpol about it in no uncertain terms, they said, absolutely not. No action will be taken on this proposal, and you won't hear anything more from us about it. Bye bye. Um, so it seems they're gonna keep fighting this thing, even though they can't get support for it anywhere. Why do they? This can't be their end goal, right? There's got to be something else that's part of this, right, Abram? Because I can't wrap my head around this. Why they keep digging in on this?
Uh, well, so I certainly, well, first of all, I think you've got to make a distinction between what the Justice Department wants and what Congress wants, because these are two different branches of government.
True.
Uh, so, you've got, you know, in Justice Department wants to be able to investigate, wants to be able to investigate people. Congress, maybe some of the Congress people want to increase investigative powers, but I think they're more looking at what are the voters asking for, and the
True.
voters are probably not asking for their privacy to be violated. Um, what the Justice Department wants is definitely not good politics, but they're not elected.
True.
Um, so it's I mean, obviously they're going to try to keep at it, but their argument makes no sense, and I think it's kind of exploitive to say, oh, they can't keep children safe if they can't break encryption.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying we can't keep children safe if people have locks on their doors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's, I mean, the idea of encryption is to protect privacy, and the up and down side of protecting privacy is it could protect criminal activity, but it also protects very legitimate activity
Sure.
that frankly the government and or private individuals shouldn't be entitled to, because remember, if the government can break it and break it easily, so can anybody else.
Yes. And
So even if you
that was Apple's argument when
yeah,
during the San Bernardino case, which for those who didn't follow it quite as closely as we were kind of forced to, um, a police officer, through either incompetence or negligence, made a mistake that locked an iPhone, and they tried to get a court order to demand that Apple create a backdoor that would allow them to access the data without unlocking the device. And Apple said no. And their argument was, once a backdoor exists, it exists. And just because the key is private, no way is it private. If they I think Tim Cook said we can't even keep the specs of our hardware private. There's no way any organization uh, can keep private encryption keys private. They're going to leak, and every device will become vulnerable, which of course is true because that's how backdoors work.
yeah,
Once a backdoor exists, it exists, and anybody will eventually be able to get through it.
yeah. So I'm glad that people are that companies are largely ignoring this request, this advocacy. I hope it stays that way, because I mean, look at it this way. There's a lot of places in this world where people are political dissidents, and you know they're trying to keep those communications private. So
Sure.
so you let the Justice Department of the United States in. How does that stop, the government of another country from cracking in, using it to crack down on dissent?
Sure. Absolutely. So you end up with political issues in countries that are already you know on shaky ground politically, but then you've also got the issue of you know corporate communications. You got a company trying to keep the information about a patent filing that hasn't been filed yet private, but the government still potentially has access to that, or once it's cracked, the competitors could have access to that. I, it's not good for anybody. It is just a generally bad situation. And like you said, I'm glad that it's by and large been ignored. And in fact, in some cases, like with Microsoft, it's been doubled down on. OneDrive now has the personal vault that even Microsoft can't scan. Uh, um, you know, Microsoft's doubled down on saying this is a bad idea by making it widely available to everybody. Um, so yeah, I'm glad that we're staying on that side, and even Interpol's like, yeah, we're not going to touch this one. This is the last you'll hear from us on this topic. Go away. So if you can't get Interpol on your side on something that's theoretically an international policing investigative topic, you're not going to get anybody on your side. So thumbs up. This week's DRM Not Included in F5 Live is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. In addition to your free shipping, there are a lot of features like Amazon Prime Music, which gives you free music streaming, Amazon Prime Video, which gives you TV, movies, documentaries, all available as part of your subscription. You get Twitch Prime, which gives you free games every month and a free subscription to support the content creator of your choice on Twitch. You get one free subscription there as well, and a whole lot more. We've put together some of our favorites with quick links to all of the features. And if you're not already a Prime subscriber, this is the time of year where it pays off to have it. We've got a 30-day free trial so that you can see if the shipping and all of these other features are a benefit for you. And all of that can be found by going to f5live.tv/prime. So this month was the big new streaming service month. We saw Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus launch, and both have seen their launch issues, but both have been different. Disney saw technical issues, whether it be the system crashing on day one or old episodes of The Simpsons cutting off the top and bottom of the videos. On the other hand, Disney's issues have been more content related. Their original series have been, at best, ignored, and at worst, hated. I think the nicest comment I saw about their flagship series, The Morning Show, was that it was boring, and it got worse from there.
You you mean Apple TV?
Apple TV. Did I say wrong? Apple
Yeah,
TV Plus.
you said Disney.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Apple TV Plus. Disney's has been technical issues. Apple's has been content issues. And this week, an interesting situation has arisen within Apple in their content division. Their first big Apple original movie, which, based on early critic screenings, had Samuel L. Jackson as a possible long shot nominee for an Oscar for this film. won't be hitting theaters, at least not uh, when it's supposed to. The film is called The Banker. It tells the story. It's set in the 50s. It tells the story of two land developers, and apparently it's supposed to be really great, but there's an issue. Uh, one of the co-producers, who is the son of one of the two bankers that the movie is about, has been accused of sexual assault going back several decades, but spanning almost 10 years. The two women who came forward are actually his half sisters. So all of it ties into the story, into the reality of the film. It's a family member of one of the people that the movie is about, and theoretically several of them. Apple has decided to cancel its theatrical premiere, which means that it will almost certainly not be Oscar eligible for this season, um, indefinitely. As of right now, there are no active plans to bring it to theaters or to Apple TV Plus until they can figure out what their next steps are, which I think is a very smart move on Apple's part. They spent a lot of money on this movie, and they're saying we're not going to stand for nonsense. I would use different words if we weren't rated E for everyone. Um, they're not going to stand for anything like this, and Hollywood's been a little up and down on what they will and will not uh, accept from what's happening in the industry. And Apple's saying we're staying out of your wishy washy. We're taking a stand. We're not going to be involved in that. Which, in reality, is kind of the Apple corporate culture in general, right? So I'm not surprised about it, but I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to. I think companies are going to, film studios are going to have to spend more time kind of vetting the people who are involved in the films, and
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that they, the controversies like this don't come up. I was thinking about, and I have to look up the name of it, the movie, The Birth of a Nation, which came out a few years ago. Do you remember that? The one
Not
about
offhand.
The Nat Turner. So there was a movie that was being highly touted a few years ago called The Birth of a Nation, not to be confused with Birth of a Nation, which was the black and white Ku Klux Klan film. This is this movie was about the Nat Turner slave rebellion, um, and the guy who produced and starred in it, um, the guy who produced and starred in it, I think his name was uh, Nate Parker. Yeah. When the movie was about to come out, some several years old allegations, which had been sort of, he hadn't been disciplined for them in college, but was there was a lot of evidence to say that he did it. He said he didn't do it. I don't know. I'm not here to talk about, to adjudicate that, but with the buzz around it, the negative buzz around it, I think that very much hurt the box office for that film, which was supposed to be, a movie that was going to get award consideration, and be, you know, and be something a lot of people saw. That was actually before. That was actually before Harvey Weinstein.
Okay.
So that was like 2016.
Yeah.
So, but now people should be, really careful. They're going to have to start. I mean, look at Kevin Spacey. Like,
Mm-hmm.
didn't they have some projects with Kevin Spacey where they had serious problems? One of them, they ended up reshooting his part.
Yeah. They
Um,
the final season of the Netflix series, whose name he was
Yeah,
president.
of Game of Cards,
Yeah,
House of Cards.
House of Cards. Yeah, the he wasn't in the final season.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they wrote him out, but also there was that movie, I forget the name of it,
Mm-hmm.
that was about, I think, John Paul Getty, and
Yep.
he had filmed a whole bunch of scenes, and then like with they delayed the film for like a month, and then they got somebody else to they got Christopher Plummer to step in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna have to start doing the kind of vetting that people do when they like presidential candidates do when they're looking for a vice presidential candidate to see what comes up.
Or what
Uh,
some of them do
they're
at
going to
least.
have to start doing, yes, what they're supposed to be doing. Um,
Uh,
you know,
she's gonna be the butt of jokes for
I
the
think
rest of my life. Keep
I
going.
think
Sorry.
I think studios are going to have to do that kind of deep background check on. I don't know. I mean, clearly they're going to have to do it on a lot of people involved in the film because Kevin Spacey wasn't even the star. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the producer or the director. He had, I think, a fairly small supporting role. My understanding was, but
Which is why it was able
yeah.
to. They
So
were able to eliminate him in a short period of time. If
yeah,
he had a bigger
but
role, it
that
would have
kind of
been a
thing can
much
be,
bigger problem.
yeah. Although I guess they could try to do a Sonic the Hedgehog to a person, right?
$25
So like the
million.
person will.
$25 million dollars that added to the movie's budget.
Well, I don't know how much it cost to animate him in the first place. I don't know why it would be why it's so expensive, but I don't know what it cost the first place.
Right. I know
I
that I
mean,
think the total budget's now 137.
well, I mean, the movie didn't look that great in the first place. Now it looks a little better,
Yeah. His
but
ar- his arms are still
they
blue.
that's the big problem,
No.
not the fact that there's no other Sonic characters in it except for Dr. Robotnik, and he doesn't look right either, and that it by all accounts looks not at all funny.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have creepy teeth anymore, so we've got that. But but yeah, there are I guess the reason why I brought up the price on that is because even in an animated film, which theoretically you change the model and re-render, it still added
Right, yeah.
$25 million dollars to the budget to make him not look horrifying with those teeth. Um, and there obviously Sonic hasn't been accused of anything other than being creepy looking. But if you're talking about the budget of a filmed movie with a big star like Kevin Spacey, to go back and have to refilm all his parts after you've shut down production, theoretically, to bring all of that back online is massively expensive. You may have given up sets already or shooting locations and having to lease them back and all that. I mean that's massively expensive. It's way better to do your due diligence up front and not have somebody who's got skeletons.
Yeah, no doubt. But on the other hand, we've also learned in recent years that it can even affect the back money being made from back catalog of older works too,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, you know, people aren't listening to R. Kelly so much anymore. They most channels are no longer airing the Cosby Show reruns of the Cosby Show
Mm-hmm.
or
Certainly not the
or
barbecue
Seventh
episode.
Heaven.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Seventh Heaven. Oh my god, I forgot about that one.
So I mean, companies are probably going to look at this and figure out, like, wait a second, how do we make sure um, that we get people who aren't going to create this kind of controversy?
Yeah.
Because once your work will forever be tainted.
Yeah. Once a brand is damaged like that, once a TV show's image is damaged, there's no coming back from it. So, yeah. And to use a show like Seventh Heaven as an example, part of the financial strategy on a show like that, because it was the CW, so it certainly wasn't based around making money up front. It was with the 18 viewers that watched UPN at the time, it was definitely based on being able to make money long term on syndication deals, and that's over. You're not. Nobody's trying to syndicate Seventh Heaven today
Yeah.
because it's hard to take Reverend
And
Camden
all of
seriously.
the right, and all of the other cast members who were getting residuals.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody else was affected by it as well. Yeah, it's due diligence. I guess is the important part here. Studios need to be paying more attention to who they're bringing in and really doing, like you said, presidential or VP level vetting, because I obviously once a name is tainted, it is. So that makes going forward, nobody's looking to try and hire Kevin Spacey for a project right now. So there's that. But new people coming in, like in this case, in the case of the banker, this co-producer, this is probably his only project ever because it's about his dad. You've really got to be watching out for those people because they don't have any industry background. Nobody knows what they've been up to. So you've really got to be careful with those types of people. Your consulting producers and your co-producers and stuff like that are 1 or 2 time people. You've really got to watch out for that stuff. So okay, well that was interesting. The mixer just turned off. Hopefully everything we recorded
Oops.
so far still exists. Fingers crossed. Anyway, that is our show. Whew. Thank you to those of you who joined us live. We always appreciate our live viewers. If you weren't able to join us live, that is okay. You can always go to plughitslive.com/join us. Or nope, plughitslive.com/subscribe and see all of the shows, including F5 Live and the Pilch Point, and Plug Hits Live How To, and the 3000 Brigade Presents, which we've got some new Detective Toad mysteries coming over the coming weeks. So there's lots of new content, and oh my god, I cannot believe that it's like 5 weeks until CES, something like that. Holy cow, that's way too close. So we will be having a ton of new content there. Like we said earlier, definitely hang out at tomshardware.com over particularly the next week. There will be a ton of deal information. So if you're looking for great gift ideas, Tom's Hardware will definitely be the place to go looking. And I guess with that, on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we will see you guys back next time. Ciao.